PP Tim, maybe you can tell us, what were you doing today in Chitungwiza?
Today, it was a wonderful day. We were distributing lotions to people living with albinism.
And they still coming?
Timothy, your mic is muted.
You also have past district governor Arun Sharma from our district. He is here. And we also have our past president, Mrs. Singh Surinder Pal Kaur, who was the president last year when we had this project with your club. Surinder ji is here.
Wonderful. Thank you and welcome to everyone. Thank you, President,
Good afternoon.
for working with us last year. Appreciated.
Good afternoon. My greetings to everyone there. We have been hearing a lot from Madhukar, good about your club as well as your country. So we thought we'll just chip in today and say hello to all of you. Hello.
Oh, thank you. Sincerely appreciated.
You know, the person to contact for the next medical mission is PDG Arun Sharma. He is the boss man around here.
Yeah. just to keep you all informed, the Rotary Club of Chitungwiza has already become very close to India, one through Mr. Madhukar Malhotra, and then I'm here in Bengaluru, India, but I'm one of their permanent members of the Rotary Club of Chitungwiza. I'm more of a Rotary member from Zimbabwe than in India, but I act as a bridge between any activities that could happen, and I'm very happy to support you all, just in case you need, because I just shared my Indian WhatsApp number as well, and any of you could just let me know, and I'm just a few minutes away from your phone.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mahi.
Mahi also has business interests in Zimbabwe, so he keeps on traveling.
Yeah,
right, Mahi?
For the moment, I have been confined to the four walls. Otherwise, I would have been in Zimbabwe in April. So, I think many of them have joined. Rose, do you think it is right for us to start, or we wait for some more time for our couple of friends who are supposed to join?
Well, while we're waiting,
Albert, Innocent, Dorothy, they've had too much of us during the medical meet. They don't want to listen to us.
No, there is a problem with most of people when they join. There is a problem of data in Zimbabwe, and so we've seen some of them facing a lot of data problems. But still, we have people still joining there. So let's give them about a few more minutes before we begin our session. And don't have to worry about the duration. Of course, we'll definitely manage the timings. There's absolutely no problem. We have Picavo joining us here. Hello, Picavo.
To get the meeting started, I would like to say a warm welcome to everyone from around the world, and a special welcome to our guest speaker today, Madhukar Malhotra. And yes, Mahi is our host, and Mahi is a member of the Rotary Club of Chitungwiza, as well as our host today. So Mahi and Tim, our secretary for the Rotary Club of Chitungwiza, I'd like to say, Tim, if you can start off by the usual, which is the prayer and the loyal toast to both our countries, and also to welcome everyone. Thank you. Over to PP Tim. Thank you, Mahi. I will mute and go off video now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, thank you. Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this global meeting that we are holding today. We want to commit everything in your hands. Guide us, Lord, in everything that we are going to be discussing. Give us the knowledge, the understanding, even as we look at Rotary opening opportunities, opening doors to the less privileged. I commit this meeting again in a wonderful name, I pray. Amen. Right. Thank you very much. As we also go ahead to do the toast, the loyal toast, to the Rotary Club of Chitungwiza, as we also toast to Zimbabwe and India. A wonderful day to us all as we toast to our wonderful countries. Cheers.
Yes.
Thank you. Great. Thank you. Great. I think President Rose, I think I'm done on my part.
Yeah. So I think now we are good to go. We said that at 1:10 p.m. Zimbabwe time we'll be starting off with the presentation. So it's 1:10 in Zimbabwe and 4:40 in India. So I hand over the mic to Mr. Madhukar Malhotra. Over to you, sir, for your presentation. And I'll be on mute, but and just in case anybody wants to ask questions, we'll try to do that in the end. But you can also type in the questions at the Q&A and also in the chat box there, and we'll address that in the later stage. So over to you, Mr. Madhukar.
Well, thank you, Mahi. Well, good afternoon to my friends from the Rotary family of Chitungwiza, our partners for the medical mission recently. It was a pleasure to get together, with you there, and all the hard work put in by your team, led by President Rose. I was going to say immediate past president. Well, she's also the current president, and she's done a fantastic job, as we all know. And of course, with support of all the other Rotarians, I would recognize AG Albert, PAG Innocent, past President Tim is there, Rotarian Dorothy, Rotarian Ona, Protractor Priska, and of course, our President Rose, the interactors of St. Mary's High School who were there to receive us and welcome us when we arrived in Zimbabwe and to see us off, the Scouts led by Ona, the Mutare team led by Job and his wife Beatrice, both Rotarians, the ever-smiling President James, past Assistant Governor Mike, KG Eleanor, past President Goodwin, Rotarian Darcy, and so many others. It was really an enriching experience and that opportunity to serve, and we thank you for that. That's my better half. She's come to watch over me and make sure that I keep within the time limits and I don't go off track, okay?
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Well, and the visit and the VTT, of course, became special because we had President Mark Maloney and the First Lady Gay with us, as also the Vice President of Rotary International and two more directors. So it was unique in that manner. I have attended maybe 7 or 8 intercontinental missions, of course, besides the one in India. But this became unique because of the presence of the President and the appreciation and support we got from him later, even after going back. And of course, it was all due to the hard work and the contributions made by the Rotarians of Mutare and Chitungwiza. Well, the topic today is changing Rotary. There's a Chinese proverb which says, a journey of 1,000 miles must begin with one single step. And that single step was taken by our founder, Paul Harris, on 23rd February 1905, when he had the first meeting. There were 4 people there. And of course, over a period of time, it has changed. And I would say that Paul Harris was a visionary leader because he introduced the concept of leadership change every year. He did not hang on, like in most organizations, many organizations, somebody starts an organization and will not let go of it. But he introduced the concept of rotational leadership, change every year, and we have today 35,000 clubs changing leadership every year, the president of Rotary International changing every year, the trustee changing every year. The directors, of course, have a 2-year term. And in spite of that change, which would not work in a corporate situation, Rotary has been thriving and doing great work. Of course, there have been changes, there are challenges, and challenges keep on coming, but Rotary has been evolving with the changing environment. Paul Harris said in 1935, remember, this is the change, and I quote, "This is the changing world. We must be prepared to change with it. The story of Rotary will have to be written again and again." And we know the changes that have taken place over the years. From a single club, we became multiple clubs. From multiple clubs, we got an international clubs. We started in a second country and then, of course, spread over. And today we are present in more than 200 countries and with 1.2 million members. The challenge today is membership. The challenge today is involving more people, getting more inclusive. And that is what we'll talk a little bit about. Paul Harris also said, if Rotary is to realize its proper destiny, it must be evolutionary at times and revolutionary on occasions. Sometimes the evolution takes place slowly over a period of time, and revolution sometimes comes from different forces. Revolutionary change took place in 1989 when women came into Rotary. That was a first major change over the set formula that was there. And from the 4 women, and luckily, or by chance, I was the president of the Rotary Club of Chandigarh in 89-90 when women were first inducted into Rotary, and we inducted 4 women in the first month itself, of course, after following all the protocols and procedures that Rotary then required. And out of the 4, 1 became a past district governor, 1 became a district governor in 2003-04, and the other 2 became presidents of the Rotary, from Rotary Clubs. The 4th one was the head of Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at the local PGI, the referral hospital. And of course, a gynae head of department, is on the roll call duty 24 hours of the day. So she could not take up the responsibility. And after retirement, she shifted to Chennai and joined the Rotary Club there. How prophetic was Paul Harris when he said that Rotary must keep on evolving and changing? With women coming into Rotary, the first major change came that women are more, more aware, they are more responsible. People would look at Rotary, it was more rigid and rule bound. When I joined Rotary in 1979, and the Rotary that I am in today is totally different. And I have been seeing Rotary evolving over the years. When I joined Rotary, it was a club for the elite. It was a club where you were expected to attend every meeting, or at least 60% of the meetings. You were also, and if you missed 2 meetings, 3 meetings in a row, they sent you a notice saying, "Thank you very much, it's been nice knowing you, but it seems you're no longer interested in continuing in Rotary, and bye-bye to you." Well, that is no longer there today. Why? Because the situation has changed. When I joined Rotary, the main function of Rotary, the main activities we had was the weekly meeting, and they were very sacrosanct, and people looked up to come to the Rotary meeting because we had eminent speakers addressing us. We had eminent speakers on topics of interest to the general public. We had bureaucrats and ministers and subject experts who would come and talk to us, maybe about heart disease or diabetes, or something about the infrastructure development, or whatever was the key area of interest of people. But today, whatever you call it, Uncle Google or Auntie Google, and you get the information you need from that. Those meetings do not hold much interest for the general members. So what does keep their interest? The interest is today the projects. when we, in 79, we probably did one major project a year and did, many small projects locally. Today, the emphasis is on projects of scale, large projects, projects which have a continued benefit to the society, projects which are sustainable, which you just don't do a project and say, forget about it. And I think that change came in with the eradication of polio program. That started in 1985 in India. And I remember in the first few years, we would carry our own tables and our own chairs and our umbrellas or tentage and go and sit and give these drops. We would collect the drops and give the drops. The government was nowhere in the picture for the first few years. But how many could we, vaccinate or give this vaccine to? Finally, we realized it became obvious that we need to involve the government. And that is when advocacy started and partnerships took place. And the biggest partnership and the most successful one has been the eradication of polio. That has brought Rotary into the limelight all over the world, because WHO also gave credence. The polio partnership went around the world. And at that time, in India alone, the number of people being affected by polio was close to 500 every day, which has been nil from the year. The last case of polio was in 2011, January. So look at the change that has happened. Can you imagine the pain that a parent felt when a child got afflicted with polio? Today, that problem has vanished, but new challenges have come up. We have one right now. When I joined Rotary in 1979, I didn't join Rotary to serve. I joined Rotary because I had moved from a large metropolitan town, Mumbai. Some of you would have heard of it. And I came to Chandigarh, and I was working, trying to set up a plant here for my principals for my company, which was some 20 miles out of Chandigarh. So I'd leave in the morning, come back late in the evening. And my wife, having lived in Mumbai earlier, we were living in Mumbai earlier, said, where have you brought me? To this small town. There is nothing to do. There are no people to meet, because I would leave at 8 o'clock in the morning, come back at 8 at night, and it was a bad time. So I would get a shouting once in a while over the telephone. Luckily, we didn't have the mobile phones, so it used to be rare when she would catch me. And one day, somebody was sitting across the table and he said, you seem upset. What's the problem? I said, oh, it's my wife. She's very upset. I don't give enough time to the family. And he said, and she doesn't have friends here. He said, why don't you make her join the inner wheel? And I said, what's that? He said, that's the ladies' wing of Rotary. And I said, why don't you, how do we join? How does she join that? Oh, you have to become a Rotarian first. And I said, well, he said, well, you're heading this company, so you should make it, because we normally take the head of the unit, nobody below that. And I was pretty young at that time, in my early 30s, or 32 or 30, something like that. And he said, okay, let me try. And 3 days later, he told me, I've talked to my president and they have reviewed your biodata and said, yes, he would be acceptable. So I'm proposing your name. I hope, the routine problems that were there. And I joined Rotary so that my wife could join the Inner Wheel Club. And it was not to serve. And in the first few years, I was busy with my profession. I would be traveling a lot to Mumbai. We didn't have the mobile phones or the telephones, even service was so bad. You had to make a lightning call to Mumbai, and that didn't work. So it was twice a month I was reporting to Mumbai, traveling to Mumbai, reporting on the progress and the project work going on and all that. And it was tedious, but that left me again with no time for Rotary, and I was not attending meetings. And that meant I would get a notice every second or third week saying, hey, you want to leave Rotary? I said, no, because I couldn't afford to. My better half would not take it, because she was happy with the Inner Wheel Club. Well, it grows on you. Rotary grows on you. It was maybe the projects we I was the club secretary when the club took up a project to set up a sarai. Sarai is a kind of a hostel for patients' relatives who would visit the referral hospital. There was no place for them to stay, and many could afford a hotel. And anyway, they wanted to be close nearby. Like I said, no mobile phones, anything. Something happened, they wanted to be available if somebody shouted out for them. So we built up a sarai there, and that set you thinking, hey, you know, they're doing something good. But the real change came. I went on a business trip to Taiwan. It was, I think, somewhere in the year 82 or 83. I went on a business trip to Taiwan, and I went to a town called Taichung, which was some 2.5, 3 hours drive away from Taipei, down south. And I landed up there, and there was a car to receive me and took me to the hotel I was staying in. I saw the rotary wheel. So I had nothing better to do. I had, you know, had some wait in Taipei. So I said, okay, change over and let's go in. And I walked into the Rotary meeting room. And there were, I think, 100 odd people in the room. They looked at me. It's a strange looking chap walking in. There was some people talking to each other on the head table. One of them comes up to me with one person speaking broken English. He said, you know, you're wanted up there. And I said, no, I'm comfortable here. They said, no, the president, you know, come. So I went and sat up there. And I said, would you please address the club? And I said, you know, I don't know Chinese, and I, you know, can only address in English or Hindi. He said, you know, it's okay. So I just got up for 2 or 3 minutes. I said something. I got a standing ovation. The whole hall stood up and gave me a standing ovation. And I asked, what is going on? They said, you're the first Indian who has visited our club, and it's a great honor for us. Fine, great. So I was going, you know, the meeting got over. We had dinner, the meeting got over. I went up, was leaving for my room. This person who spoke a little English said, no, we are not going up. We are going out. I said, but where will we go? Oh, we'll go to the nightclubs. We'll go to the bars. I said, I'm not really interested. I have an early morning meeting tomorrow. Oh, what time is the meeting? I said, 9 o'clock. No problem, you know, no problem. They took me around, spent a couple of $100 on me and, you know, the group, brought me back at 3 in the morning. 9 o'clock was my meeting. And I said, I don't know this, Johnny. This Rotary must be something good and great. You know, and I said, what fellowship? I don't know these people just because I'm a Rotarian and I have the, by the way, I'm wearing my Zimbabwe shirt. All is that I'm a Rotarian, and they give me so much, you know, honor and so much, what a beautiful reception. And there must be something more to it. And I came back and I started getting active in Rotary. And I accepted a position on the board. I started looking after the youth exchange students who would come, and the group study exchange team members, and become active. So in 2 years' time, they said, oh, you know, international service, there is a vacancy, and why don't we take you on the board? So that's how my journey of service started, after a good 7-8 years of my being in Rotary. And thereafter, as long as I was working, you know, it didn't matter. I was active in Rotary always. 89, I became the president. 10 years down the line, I became the governor. And after my tenure as governor, all I've been doing is service on one medical mission every year outside, plus any projects locally that are there. And today, the first revolutionary change, I said, came when in 1989, when women joined Rotary. They have more empathy. We were more focused on the work, and we were more focused on fellowship. They are more focused on projects. They are more focused on engagement. And that is a major change that they have brought around. We were very focused on traditions. We were very, very focused on, you know, the collar and the, you know, taking 20 names before starting the building, the protocols that were there. they were less there. And today, Rotary has adopted that. Today, they have given protocols a go-by. They say all protocols observed is sufficient for any meeting. I mean, I was an international trainer this year, and of course, we were trained a week before we started the training the incoming governors, and they said protocols are history. Traditionalists are there, but today the clubs are flexible. We have the traditional clubs when everybody is expected to come with a tie and a jacket for a luncheon meeting or an evening meeting, and there are clubs which do not have to do anything or regular meetings like that. You can have clubs which are specialized clubs, like people who are interested in the environment can form a Rotary Club of Chandigarh environment, and only focus will be on the environment. They need not focus on other things, because they've realized that the people of today, the youth of today, are more concerned with their own interests, and they do not want to spend time on things which are not important to them, which must be very important to us, which may be very important to the people who come from the traditional Rotary background. Today, another major change is now taking place is youth. With effect from this year, July, the Rotary Clubs are also listed on the Rotary portal. The Rotary Clubs are also listed on the Rotary portal. There have been major changes. A Rotary Club can charter another Rotary Club. They don't need to be linked to a parent club like it used to be in the old times. I mean, no Rotary Club could be formed without a parent Rotary Club forming a Rotary Club and a Rotarian attending. Today, a Rotary Club can charter a Rotary Club, and their member can supervise that club and ensure that it's going well, and that's right. They can apply for matching grants on their own. They will be listed from next year. There's a fee of $8 for a Rotary Club, which is formed, which is community-based, and $5 per member for a Rotary Club, which is institutional-based. It should be a lot of interest to your country today, and of course in our country also, where money can be a problem for many. A lot of people would like to join Rotary, cannot join Rotary. There are two more areas. They can easily form a digital club or a e-club, which meets only on Zoom or one of these. It will not have the expenses of that a regular traditional club would have, of having a luncheon meeting and all those fees and all. All they need to do is pay their RI dues, whatever is for everybody else, and whatever is the district due, and that's it. And then the rest of it is the work they want to do and the money they raise from the community or pool in themselves for their project work. So the costs go down. And of course, there is no age limit on Road Track now. Road Track is those people who have the need or the desire to serve, but cannot afford to join a Rotary Club. At $8, almost all people can afford to join a Rotary Club. And it doesn't matter. The age limit of 30 no longer exists. It can go, higher. So there is less rigidity, more flexibility. A lot of us cannot accept change. Some of us are very resistant to change. Some of us need some motivation for change. That, hey, you can change because, you can join the Rotary Club and it doesn't cost you so much. And some of us are traditionalists, they don't want change. So they can continue in the clubs that are still existing. They will exist. So it is now a flexible Rotary, which has very number of different types of Rotary clubs. You can decide to meet once, you can decide to meet 4 times, you can decide to have committee meetings, Zoom meetings, project meetings, and that will be considered a regular meeting. Attendance does not have that weightage now, and the protocols and rigidity is no longer existing. It started even in the year 2010-11 when I went for my training to San Diego. Our president then, Ray Klingensmith, he stood up, took off his tie and said, I free you from the burden of the tie, because I understand this is not a traditional dress in many parts of the world. And that was a big change, because till that time, and it shook up a lot of traditionalists there. Said, what is he doing? What is he doing? It's going to take away from the sanctity of the meetings. But that didn't happen. And of course, things are changing. Well, in the flexibility clubs, today you have, passport clubs, e-clubs, you have corporate clubs, you have satellite clubs. Satellite club is a club within a club. Say we have the Rotary Club of Chandigarh, and we also have a satellite club, because we cannot afford the same time. We meet on Monday at 6 p.m. A lot of people are still busy at work, they can't reach. So we have a satellite club which meets on Saturdays in the evening. Saturdays are free days for most people. Part of the same club, there's just a chairman, and they meet separately, and the members of both the clubs can attend, both the factions of the club can attend each other's meeting. And when they decide that they are mature enough and they want to separate, they are free to do so. Once they have attained that level of 20 odd members, they can just change. Engaging young people, the world demography is changing. In our part of the world, when more than 60% of the people are under 25 years of age or under 30 years of age, the whole demography is changing. So we cannot be very strict and very rigid on the membership concept. Today, Rotary leadership is being encouraged, and they are being encouraged just so that we can have a wider acceptance. It is not that the Rotary member will continue to be a Rotary member always. In time, he will mature, he will want to be with his peers, he would have grown in his profession and business, and he would want to be with peers, and he would join the Rotary Club. And that is the concept, that you get them into Rotary. Traditionally, we have been using our Rotary clubs as feedstock for doing the labor work, the hard work in Rotary. Okay, Rotractors, come on, let's go. We are going to clean up, this area, and you come and join us. But we don't give them the credit for it. The credit goes to the Rotary Club. Oh, Rotary Club of Chandigarh did this great job. Whereas 80% of the work is basically done by the Rotary Club. Today, they say, give them equal standing. Say the Rotary Club of Chandigarh and the Rotary Club of so-and-so did this project, or the Rotary Club did this project. Because if you give them the importance and the due recognition, you will find them more involved and more into Rotary and understanding Rotary. And we need to get out of this 1.2 million that we have for the last 15 years. Everybody says Rotary is growing, but where have we grown? We are stuck at 1.2 million for the last 15 years, and we need to grow out of it. Now, change is a challenge. In traditional times, I'm sure we would not be talking like this. Nobody would even think of this, even though Zoom has been around for some time. Nobody would think of this. Our club under President Surinder for the last 3 months has been meeting on Zoom. Would that ever happen? Would the traditionalists ever agree to Zoom meetings? No. But this challenge of COVID has made life easier for one aspect. Acceptance of change is taking place at a much faster pace. Our President-elect training seminar, the district assembly were all held on Zoom or on digital meetings. Some of our districts whose district conference was scheduled for later, their district conference has been held on Zoom meetings or Geo meetings or whichever other platform that is available. So this COVID, which is a challenge and which has created many difficulties and problems for all of us, has also thrown up some solutions, some acceptance of change that would have never taken place or might have taken place 5 to 10 years down the line. Even when women were allowed into Rotary, and I love travel, and I've been traveling frequently, and my daughter is settled in US, my sister is settled in UK, and I've been visiting them. The hardcore traditionalists would look at women as, what are they doing here? How come they have joined? I don't know whether Rose ever faced that or Vijay ever faced that, but in other places, they would look at them differently. Today, you go to a Rotary Club in US, you have a club which is the old traditional club which meets at 12 noon for lunch and everybody is in a bow and a tie and it's very rigid. But then you have another club which is dominated by ladies and women and is doing wonderful work in the community. So it's both ways. But it took them years and years to get up courage to set up their own clubs to get acceptance in Rotary. Today, this year, 6 out of 14 directors of Rotary International are women. 3 of the trustees are women. Next year, 8 directors of Rotary International out of 14 are women. So look at the change and acceptance that has taken place. Would that have been possible if the Supreme Court in US had not ruled that, take in women? Probably we would have toed the traditional line saying no women. But I'm glad that we did have these women. I'm happy that I had a twin, President Rose, looking after the project, VTT, and we could make a success of it. I don't think anybody else would have put in that kind of effort that was put in, because it's not an easy task. We all have our responsibilities. We also have, the women have more empathy. I mean, I probably would not have been able to give so much time till the time I got into the service thing while I was working. But women will somehow find time. I have seen my president, Surinder Kaur, I've seen my president, Vijay Badhavan, past presidents now, just lead by example and lead by friend. So, well, friends, it was talking about changing times and the new Rotary that is evolving, the Rotary that has evolved over the years. The Rotary that I joined in 1979 was different than the Rotary that came after 1989, came different from the Rotary that started in 2010, and 2020 is the youth that is being encouraged, because we were losing youth. The average age of Rotary around the world even today is 65 years. You think we can survive if we continue at that age? I don't think so. So it becomes important that we work on engaging youth, involving youth, and we engage members, we retain members. If we don't just make members for the sake of making members and we don't engage them, we don't get going anywhere. It's no longer membership of Rotary that you write a check and you attend the meetings and that's good enough. It is you write a check, yes, whatever you can, but it's not essential. You attend meetings, yes, when it's possible, but it's not there. You contribute towards the welfare of the society, you work on projects, you participate. That is what is given more importance now, and that is what is the need of our. Thank you very much. I'll be happy to take any questions or answer any give any clarifications that are required. Thank you.
Thank you very much, PDG Madhukar Malhotra, and PDG standing for Past District Governor. We thank you so much for your knowledge and for imparting so much knowledge to us. And this is the one question I believe that we should all be asking. Why is training in Rotary important?
Well, see, when we join in any organization, there is a structure. And if we do not know that, then we start asking questions. When we train the people, the leadership, first the governors, then we have, of course, the pets, and then we have the district training assembly. We make them aware of what is the structure, because when you join any organization, you have to abide within the rules. Otherwise, we would have chaos. If I say, oh, I will form a Rotary Club, and I say, I don't want to be a part of Rotary International, it can't work, because then you cannot call yourself Rotary. But people come up with these ideas, surprisingly. And training makes sure that you understand that there are certain outer limits within which you function. It's no longer as rigid as it used to be, but training becomes important because you also get to understand how to expand your horizons, how to be able to serve better. Say you have a global grant, you have to meet certain requirements. Without training, you wouldn't know what are the requirements. But global grant can maybe multiply the amount you put in maybe 5 to 10 times. I think your district put in $5,000 and we did a project of $110,000.
Exactly.
It wouldn't happen. You know, without training, that understanding would not be there. So that's just one example. But even
we have another question from Mr.
Yeah.
Picao. Mr. Picao President Picao has raised his hand.
Yeah, please.
Can you please unmute?
Thank you so much. I hope I can be audible enough.
Yes.
I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes,
Yeah, you're audible. Yes. President Picao, you're audible. Please.
You can go ahead.
Yeah. Firstly, I want to congratulate him for the detailed presentation, and it's quite eye-opening. Indeed, I like the part of the revolution and the opportunities that COVID has provided. Before COVID, I might not have been able to join in this meeting from Malawi, Lilongwe, Malawi. So it's really opened opportunities. But my interest really is, I want to learn how we can, because I'm told we have been stuck on 1,200,000 members or around that for several years now. What would be the suggestion to say we increase the membership because we need more hands to reach out to those less fortunate than ourselves? Thank you.
Yes. Well, a good question, and that's been a question that's been going around for the last 20 years that I've been there. How to increase our members? But Rotary has been evolving. The first, there have been as the demographic changes in certain countries like Japan, there's a falling membership because it's an aging country, and younger people were not getting interested. Rotary did a survey and found out that we are not able to get the younger people to join Rotary because they look at it as an organization of old people. And they said if we ask them to join Rotary, they kind of back out. And they say, why should we pay these charges and all that? So that is why now they have made Rotary Clubs as an integral part of Rotary. Like a Rotary Club of Chandigarh and the Rotary Club of Chandigarh have equal standing in Rotary International as clubs. That is younger people. And younger people, as they get involved with Rotary and seeing the good work we're doing, they will get more involved and they will join Rotary also. But whether they join Rotary or not, they are part of the Rotary world. And that is how the membership is expected to increase, and it is increasing. India and Africa are two prime examples of increasing membership in Rotary from the younger people, from the Rotary clubs, and in Rotary also. By the way, I have been twice to Malawi, first in 2011 and then in 2014, I think, or 13, it was 14, with medical missions. I don't know whether we met or not. Of course, the Rotary Club of Lilongwe was our partner at that time. Yeah.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Albert, he needs to unmute himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, hello. This is Albert Banda from Malawi Rotary Club of Mahidhara. As an extension to what my president, President Picao, has raised is the what has been the practice or what has happened in other countries in terms of demystifying the perceptions that people out there have about Rotary. Because I've been engaged myself where I've recruited a few people, but the message, the immediate message that you tend to get is that maybe Rotary is a grouping of elite, you know, of the elite, and that attachment, people feel like, well, should I really join this group? You know, basically what I'm saying, there are a lot of questions that are attached. So I just want to see or to hear how that has been addressed in other countries. Thank you.
Yes. Albert, can I call you Albert? You know, your question is very relevant, and I did mention that when I joined Rotary, it was known to be a club of the elite and very difficult to get into. But over the years, they have changed. Now, even a housewife classification is available for anybody to join Rotary as long as you're paying the dues. That elite tag has gone. Where there are established clubs, they try to maintain, and that is where we used to have a problem. Say, Rotary Club of Lilongwe. There was, I'm just assuming, I'm not saying they did that, was one club. And they did not want another club in the area. They wanted to be exclusive because of the work Rotary does around the world, including in the country. They got a place of pride, you can say, or recognition. They got recognition in government circles and all that. And people used to want to manipulate that or use that to their personal benefit. But then they liberated the clubs. One does not need to be chartered by another club. The district governor could charter a club himself without having a club, proposing a second club. Now they have gone further. They said we can have Rotary clubs. Now Rotary clubs would not be elite. Even if the Rotary club in a place was considered elite and the people wanted to keep it that way, they would not interfere with a Rotary club. With the Rotary club is also now free to be chartered by the governor or chartered by another Rotary club, not even from that country, from a neighboring country, neighboring district, or wherever. So if younger people get involved, as they grow in their profession, they can become Rotarians. And that is how the membership growth and also making Rotary younger is perceived to happen. And it is a result of a study done over a period of 3 to 5 years on how to get out of this 1.2 million limitation that we have been facing for the last 15 odd years or more, and how do we get younger people involved. Because like I said, at one time Rotary was elite and it was prestigious to join Rotary. Today it is prestigious to join Rotary for the work Rotary does. That time projects were not that many, but polio gave us a different image. Eradication of polio has given us, what you call an extra star, you can say, in the firmament of Rotary, where people look at Rotary as an organization of do-good, people. And getting younger people, they've said, okay, we have the Rotary Club, there's an $8 fee, you can start a Rotary Club, and there is no age limit. So people who are willing to work, are not looking to be elite, can join the Rotary Club. That's how they are looking at it. I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think this is good. We do have, I have actually created a poll for all of you to actually answer. It's a simple poll. I just wanted to make sure that I also show that this technology can be used for multiple purposes, and we can get instant feedback of how entire thing went. So I'm just going to share that now with everyone to answer those two polling questions. So just have, if you're on mobile, you can click on those options and say, and you need to say press save. I'm launching the poll now for you all. So you could just click on any of the choices that is mentioned there. So there are two questions. How did you find today's meeting? We've already had two people who have answered that. Please make sure that after you have clicked on it, you press save. Sometimes if you don't do that, that doesn't do. We've almost had 7 people who have already done 8, 4 more left in 30 seconds. So that's the power of this particular survey.
Right.
We have 40 seconds, 9 people and 3. And I'm going to share the results as well. Okay, in case anybody has faced the problem, we have 2 more who have to finish that. Today we had about 15 of them who had joined earlier, including me. But then because of various bandwidth issues, they've been going on and off. And here we have the results of the survey, which is very encouraging for you. I'm just going to share the results for you all. So how did you find today's meeting? Excellent, very good, good. So which is fantastic. Congratulations, Madhukar sir, for that wonderful presentation. And
welcome.
then would you like to attend future meetings of Rotary Club of Chitungwiza? Almost everyone have told that would love to attend this. So that's really nice. So I'll stop sharing these results just to show that it's very simple on these e-meetings to quickly conduct surveys and get the analytics as well. So just as with the permission of our president, Ms. Rose, I would also like to say that we are intending to start an e-club from Rotary Club of Chitungwiza and here in India. And Rose is trying to help us out in drawing the plan. And you certainly welcome each one of you and also people from various countries to join the e-club. First, we want to make sure we're still working on the terms of reference. But we will also make sure that it is very encouraging. Today, Mr. Madhukar also mentioned that these e-clubs are encouraged across different places. And that's also one of the ways. Even before COVID-19, I used to attend the weekly meetings through Zoom much before, because I cannot go on a weekly basis to Zimbabwe. So that was happening. And I would say that way Rotary Club of Chitungwiza was far-sighted in its thoughts. We need to include international members in order to improve the relationship between India and Chitungwiza. So Rose Peters got me in there, and I'm even more happy that the relationship is getting more stronger and stronger. And future projects are going to be even more amazing. And with all your support and guidance, we can really do amazing stuff. But today was a great beginning, and this is the second day of this year, the second meeting of this year of the Rotary, and it's been very, very successful. Over to our president.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank our host for hosting us, and we are hosted by Mahidhara Davangere in Bengaluru, India, and it makes it easy for us to communicate with the world. And this year, being Rotary opens opportunities, I felt my opportunities or our club's opportunities should start immediately. And thank you so much, past District Governor Madhukar Malhotra, for taking us up on being our speaker in the second week of the Rotary year.
Actually.
1st of July. We are truly honored and blessed to have had you. And please do thank your good wife for helping to get you on board so quickly. And really appreciate that. And everyone that has joined today, we do know that there are data challenges, maybe in India, but in Zimbabwe. I just want to thank you for having
you.
Yeah. So meanwhile, can I request everybody to switch on, if possible, if your video, because I'm going to take a screenshot, and that's like a group photo.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we can use it for our records.
And mute.
Yeah, you can always be on mute. And I will say 1, 2, 3, and please be freeze for at least 5 seconds. So that is brilliant. And smile, everyone. 1, 2, and 3. Just hold on. I'm just going to check that I've done the right thing. This has come very well. Thank you very much. So we are making the best use of technology here, and we've got all the things there ready. And we also have recorded this meeting in case any of the other members who are not able to join. We will definitely provide access to this and also the minutes, the summary of the minutes as well. So that's being the case. Rose, over to you.
Before we close, just to say, please note that Mahi is a counselor on the Institute and
sorry.
The Institute right? This counselor in the Institute, the Global Institute, and you were re-elected for a second term. So we thank you for the data. And
yeah.
Thank you, Paul, and to Rotary International. Thank you and be blessed, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye from Malawi. It was a pleasure being with you guys.
Yeah, thank you and goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Be blessed.
Bye, everyone.
Namaskar. Thank you. Thank you from everyone joining us today.
Thank you and bye.
Yeah, bye. Bye, Mr. Enduna. I'll speak to you later.
Okay, then let's get in touch.
Yes, I'll get in touch with you. See you, everybody. Bye. I'm going to end the meeting for now.
For joining us today, appreciate it.